That would be me.
Look who we're hanging with.
Ryan O'Halloran.
Jason David Frank.
Humberto Ramos.
Please do not change channel.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe. That way you can keep coming back over and over to hang with us and our fantastic creative guests in the arts and entertainment world. I'm Allison Murray, and right now we're in Syracuse, New York, and we're hanging at the MOST, the Museum of Science and Technology. We're hanging with a blogger, Exploring Upstate, Chris Clemens. Thank you so much for hanging with us.
Yeah, thanks, Allison. Thanks for letting me hang.
Absolutely. This is going to be fun. So tell us about your blog, Exploring Upstate.
Yeah, so probably in 2011 or so, I think is when I first started writing about New York, and it was sort of an exploratory project of visiting different places. At that time, it was specific to religious and spiritual history in New York, and I was partnering with a friend, and every week we would go someplace different specific to religious or spiritual history in New York.
Nice.
That history in New York is incredibly unique. And that when you start following the history of Central and Western New York and spirituality in the first half of the 19th century, it starts affecting other histories like women's rights movements and abolition and the Erie Canal, and all that stuff is so intertwined. And I think that, coupled with whenever I'm traveling out of the state and I say I'm from New York and people say, oh, which borough? And like I have to explain, like I live in Rochester, like nowhere near New York City. Like there's tons and tons and tons of other stuff in the rest of the state that people need to know about. I decided Exploring Upstate would be an opportunity for me to start sharing those stories that I was learning about.
That's fantastic. Do you have to do a lot of research for your
I think so, yeah.
blog,
so your question is, do I have to? I could probably get away with not doing a ton, but I really like that research. I really love learning those stories, and the more that I read and go back and read, like, you know what I really love is like small town history books that were written by like volunteers. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of stuff that they throw in there, and those personal little stories that if they hadn't thrown those in those little books, that stuff is gone forever. So does it require a lot of research? Maybe not, but that's the only way that I could think to do it right.
That's awesome. That's cool. Are you a full-time blogger? Do you have a job other than doing this?
I do have a grown-up job, full-time. I work at a small nonprofit organization, but Exploring Upstate probably also is full-time. It probably just doesn't pay like that.
Right. Not yet, anyways.
Right.
Next question, stop.
Okay. How do you keep your content fresh, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah. One of the things that I think has always been important for me in terms of what I'm writing is that I need to be interested in it. So I think if I am writing about something or creating some sort of content about it, if I'm truly interested in it and I find it intriguing, I think that the story that I'm telling is a bit more authentic. So in terms of keeping it fresh, you mentioned research.
Yeah.
I'm constantly reading, even if it's just Wikipedia pages for like Onondaga County. Sometimes you can find like little rabbit holes of stories that end up going to other web pages and constantly learning more. So yeah, I think I'm just constantly reading and scoping out Instagram and seeing what other people are up to and have discovered that I wasn't aware of yet.
Nice. Okay. Yep. So what do you think is the best thing that you can do to give your readers?
I think what my readers are looking for is to discover things about upstate New York that they didn't already know. So people might be living here, or they might even be living elsewhere and want to know interesting things in upstate that they can see or learn about. So I think the best thing that I can do is to continue to provide that.
What do you find is the most challenging thing about your content of the blog and the developmental process?
Probably creating a type of content that would appeal to all people, right? So we've got people who just want to watch video for content and don't really want to read. And then you have people that want to read really quick blurbs, quick, snippets of sentences. And then you have people who are totally okay sitting down and reading 3,000 words about a church in, northern New York. So trying to create something that appeals to all people, I think, is challenging.
Yeah. What is your take on sponsored reviews?
Sponsored reviews. I think it's a great way for people who are doing independent content creation to earn an income for doing things that we're passionate about. But I also think it's important for us to be mindful of our voice and the influence that has. So if there's somebody who wants to sponsor Exploring Upstate and it's a product that doesn't fit my personal mission or philosophy, I feel like I have to turn that money down because it needs to be true to my voice and what I'm presenting to people who trust me at this point.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
What has been your strategy for creating visibility to yourself and to your blog?
A lot of social media. I've been pretty active on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and those are the ones that I feel most comfortable and the ones that I enjoy the most. So I feel like my voice is a bit more authentic in using those rather than some of the other platforms that I don't enjoy, so it kind of feels like a chore.
Right.
So yeah, establishing a community of other people, I think has been important for a couple reasons. We were talking earlier about meeting people and now having friends, through doing this. And in social media, Twitter, Instagram, that's been the same thing. It's been establishing connections and networks of people who are doing really great things.
Isn't it? It's just so great. Just being able to connect with other people and meeting people and
totally.
Yeah,
I could drive all around the state and see interesting museums or eat at interesting restaurants, but without people doing all this stuff, that stuff isn't as
inspiring you to do better and all that.
Yeah.
So where are you heading to after today?
After
Got anything
today,
planned?
I'm going to head back home to Rochester. In a couple weeks, there's a bunch of Rochester food writer, content creator, podcaster, Instagram people, all of us from Rochester. We're going to spend the day in Ithaca, and we're doing a curated tour of food in Ithaca with a company called Ithaca is Foodies. So
nice.
So we're all going to caravan down together, hang out. There's a lot of people in Rochester doing really, really great things with creating content, but we don't always get to spend time together.
So how fun is that going to be?
Yeah.
And then you get to blog about it, right?
Totally.
And where can people find you and your blog?
You can find me all over
social
as
media.
much of the state as possible, and then online you can visit the website at exploringupstate.com. You can find me on Twitter at EXPLRUpstate, same one on Instagram, and then I've got a Facebook page which is Exploring Upstate.
Fantastic. Do we have time for a game? We like to play games on this show. I'm the game girl.
All right.
We're going to play Never Have I Ever.
Cool.
So what we do is just pick a card at random.
Any card.
Any card you want. And then we answer the question. Have we or haven't we?
And you're going first?
I'll go first to break the ice. All right. Never have I ever made a business call on the toilet. I probably have done that.
Yeah?
No, probably. Who hasn't?
Done business texts, maybe. Or
yeah, there you go.
If you're on the toilet, aren't you doing your business anyway?
Yeah.
Always?
See? I'm just not sharing what I'm doing making that call.
I think this game is stacked because I also got a toilet card. I don't know if anyone shuffled these cards.
That's a good one.
Yeah. This says, never have I ever not wiped because there was no toilet paper. It's a double negative, so I want to be very sure that I'm answering correctly. And that has never happened.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's good.
Always clean.
No, always. And you gotta. And if you're in the woods, you use leaves.
Absolutely. Something.
One more, Harry. Never have I ever bent over in front of a mirror and looked at my own asshole.
This isn't necessarily a family show, huh?
I've never done that.
No. You probably could have stopped to bend over in front of the mirror.
Out of the room for that one.
Yeah, we're at a family establishment. All right, this says never have I ever lied to the police. Trying to be very honest. I have never lied to the police, but there's probably been a situation where a cop has pulled me over and said, "Do you know why I pulled you over?"
And you say no.
Yeah, but maybe I sort of knew.
So you didn't lie, you just fibbed. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe those are different.
But you just wanted to know what you had to say, that's all.
Right. Does this video get shown in court? Is this evidence?
Nope. Well, guys, once again, we've had a blast hanging with Chris today. I am Allison Murray, but before we go, we'd like to thank our partners at Krypton Radio out of LA, Famous Faces and Funnies, Off the Chain Radio with the Yvonne Mason, Space Coast Comics, Asylum Convention Entertainment Services with Heather Reed, and our great friends at Someone Unique Magazine. These are the folks that share our videos all over the World Wide Web, and we hope you will too. Don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment, let us know what you think of today's show and our guests. You can also check our guest links below. Remember to subscribe, log on, and stay tuned to see who we're hanging with next. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.